Welcome to Chaotic Chintan. I am your host today because Vaidehi is not available and I am the chief backfill. Today we are going to talk about Overton Window. No, it's not IKEA's latest product. It's actually how society picks what ideas are normal and what ideas are, well, totally bananas. Today we'll explore how some wild, never gonna happen ideas actually become the law. Buckle up, because things are about to get interesting and maybe even a little awkward. Well, actually, maybe a lot awkward. So, what exactly is this Overton window? Joseph Overton, the policy analyst who gave the window its name, described it as the range of ideas that public finds acceptable or sensible at any time. If a politician steps too far outside that range, they risk going into political exile. Basically, becoming the weirdo at the cocktail party that everyone avoids. I think I was one of them. To stay electable, politicians tend to stay within the window of what people are okay with. For example, back in the 70s, people treated seat belts like an optional suggestion.
For such a small town, 1 mile square, 435 people, Richland gets lots of traffic, though nobody can remember the last time there was a serious accident. But if everybody has to buckle up or pay a $10 fine, businessmen say they'll stop and shop and get their hair cut somewhere else.
I think many of them are mad enough about it so that they're not going to run the risk of a ticket.
I oppose it on the basis that it replaces the free will of the individual with the desires of the state.
You can't force people to do things, you know. If they think that it's necessary, they'll do it. If they don't think so.
The question here is whether we have and be there in 1984 Big Brother.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting communist when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be a communist country.
Well, in India, they actually still think it's optional. It's like reading the terms and conditions of your new TV. Buckling up was seen as an unnecessary and even uncomfortable activity. Car companies didn't want to install them, drivers didn't want to use them, and politicians didn't want to force anyone. Fast forward to today, and not wearing your seatbelt is seen as reckless at best and criminal at worst. It went from nanny state nonsense to non-negotiable because over time, public safety campaigns and gruesome accident statistics slowly dragged that idea into the Overton window.
Josh? This is Michael. Today he's going to hit his girlfriend so hard she ends up with permanent brain damage.
3 dead in this vehicle. The girl is critical. They say the guy without the seatbelt did the damage.
No seatbelt, no excuse.
And once it got in, it stayed. That's the power of the Overton window. It's the slow, awkward journey of an idea from absurd to accepted, and from laughed off to legislated. What once made people scoff becomes something we can't imagine living without. Until, of course, the next absurd idea comes knocking. Back in the 60s US, suggesting legal weed would get you the same look as suggesting today that disco should make a comeback. It was scandalous. Well, actually, disco should make a comeback. People thought smoking a joint meant you'd lose your job, your mind, and your soul. Possibly not in that order. Then came the slow shift. First, medical marijuana got the green light. Suddenly, the same politicians who once blamed weed for the downfall of civilization were saying, well, if it helps arthritis. Over time, Americans started to realize that maybe cannabis wasn't a gateway drug to doom. It was just a gateway to Netflix and It was just a gateway to Netflix and snacks. By the 2010s, dispensaries were sprouting up faster than craft breweries. Recreational marijuana became not just acceptable, it became a lifestyle brand. Weed got PR, merch, and influencers. It was cool, it was regulated, it was taxed. The Overton Window didn't just move, it got high, put on sunglasses, and was chill. So the US might be facing a vibe check now though. Some states are tightening regulations, rolling back advertising freedoms, no pun intended, and putting the brakes on public consumption. It's like society went from legalize it to okay, but not like that. In Australia, medical cannabis went from radical to mainstream fairly quickly. Meanwhile, in India, despite having bhang traditions older than most civilizations, legal weed is still a bureaucratic buzzkill.
ड्रग दो ड्रग दो ड्रग दो ड्रग दो ड्रग दो मुझे ड्रग दो मुझे ड्रग्स दो वो कहती है मुझे ड्रग दो मेरे लिए गांजा लाओ चरस लाओ एमडीएमए लाओ एक्सटेसी लाओ.
But given how the West is marketing it now, India might just say, wait a minute, we invented ganja. Maybe it's time to reclaim it. While on politics used to be boring. White papers, debates, parliament sessions that looked like sad school assemblies. Then came the masala remix. In America, Donald Trump barged in like a wedding guest who showed up without invitation and still ended up on stage giving a toast. Stuff that once was career-ending became campaign slogans. Walls, bans, and reality TV grade rants suddenly became actual policies. Wild, no? In India, PM Modi didn't need reality shows. He had something stronger. Centuries of cultural energy, WhatsApp groups, and perfectly timed temple inaugurations. Overnight, previously fringe ideas became central and with no background music no less. Australia, we weren't gonna miss the party. Pauline Hanson.
I and most Australians want our immigration policy radically reviewed and that of multiculturalism abolished. I believe we are in danger of being swamped by Asians. Between 1984 and 1995, 40% of all migrants into this country were of Asian origin.
I'm Indigenous. I was born here. I'm native to the land.
She's Indigenous?
Yes, I am. Do you know the word Indigenous?
Yeah, I do.
Native to the land. I was born here. Where's my land if it's not Australia?
England?
She also claimed to be a victim of reverse racism during a Senate debate about racial discrimination laws in 2017.
Who once seemed like political leftovers, get it? Leftovers, suddenly got upgraded to the main course. Climate change denial, immigrant bashing, somehow that's mainstream. The message? Shout loudly, dress boldly, and don't back down. And boom, the window's yours. Democracy now with added drama. Coming to censorship, the age-old art of pretending to support free speech until someone actually uses it. Let's start with India, where the government discovered the most powerful button in modern democracy, the internet off switch. You know, things are bad when cutting off access to Instagram Reels becomes standard crisis management. Got a protest? Shut the internet. Someone leaked exam papers? Shut the internet. Astrological alignment not favorable? You guessed it, shut the internet. The scary part, it's not even shocking anymore. 6 years running, India leads the world in internet shutdowns. Yes, the largest democracy in the world seems to think free speech is fine as long as it's quiet, invisible, and preferably offline. Now over to the US, where the land of the free has been moonlighting as the land of the banned. Books are being yanked off shelves faster than expired milk. Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings is taken off the shelves of US Naval Academy, while Mein Kampf remains. Let that sink in. Did it sink in? The bell curve, which argues wildly and offensively that black men and women are genetically less intelligent than white people, is still proudly sitting on shelves. But critique of that book? Oh no, that was just too much for the system to handle. And it got pulled. So much for free speech absolutism. And then there's Australia. Oh, sweet, chilled out, beach-loving Australia. You'd think censorship would be impossible in a country where the national hobby is complaining about the weather. But here's the twist. The Aussie approach is less loud crackdown and more polite muzzle. If you thought secret trials only happened in spy thrillers, think again. Australia had one. Actual secret trial. So whether it's silence by shutdown, silence by school board, or silence by legal loophole, censorship is evolving. It's no longer just about banning speech. It's about exhausting people so much they stop speaking altogether. And that, my friends, is how the Overton window doesn't just move, it quietly slides shut while everyone is too tired to notice. Once upon a time, if you said the government was spying on you, people thought you'd inhaled too much whitener fluid. But now, it's not just true, it's branded. Post 9/11, the US rolled out the Patriot Act. Yes, Hassan Minhaj's Patriot Act. It was a mockery of the actual Patriot Act, which basically said, we'll respect your privacy unless you use the word explosion and also breathe near your modem. India has Aadhaar, a biometric ID so powerful it makes your fingerprints feel insecure. You need it to get a SIM cards, bank accounts, and possibly even enter the heaven. You can't unlink it from anything. You could try, but even your toaster will say, "Sir, Aadhaar please." The big takeaway? Society's sense of what's normal is a constantly shifting playlist. 1 minute it's lo-fi beats and thoughtful debates. Next minute it's conspiracy theories remixed with neon transitions and a trending audio clip. And guess who's DJing the playlist? Influencers, content creators, podcasters, Instagram experts who read one article and now speak with the confidence of your local astrologer. Yes, you. Yes, us. We often talk about politicians, courts, and laws changing the rules of the game, but it's influencers who decide whether a topic even gets to be part of the game in the first place. You're not just creating reels, fam. You're shaping reality. You are the ones nudging that window, pixel by pixel, post by post. So when creators casually normalize bigotry for engagement or make wild claims just for TRPs and clickbait, what they are really doing is giving society a gentle push, sometimes right off a cliff. And on the flip side, when creators talk about mental health, rights, climate, or policy, not in a preachy way, but with insight, humor, or even dance moves, they shift the Overton window towards awareness, towards progress. In other words, you're not just influencing trends, you're influencing what becomes truth. So if you're going to move the window, maybe, just maybe, check what's on the other side before pushing. Because this magical, chaotic Overton window, it doesn't just reflect what we believe, it reflects who we become. So whether you're making memes, running for office, or just yelling into the internet void, remember, today's LOL could be tomorrow's law. And today's TRP-fueled nonsense might become someone's nightmare. Use your platform like you use your seasoning, with flavor, not overdose. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. And maybe rethink before you retweet the shady facts don't care about your feelings tweet. Thank you.